I did a radio show for 43 years, and it kind of worked out into a pretty cool book. It's kind of my version of WKRP in Cincinnati. Anybody remember that show? Sure. A lot of really, I mean, I never dropped turkeys out of a helicopter like Les Nessman did, but just about everything else. All right, talk about causing trouble. I did. At a time when radio stations kind of encouraged their personalities to do stunts. Now, nobody in this room remembers the War of the Worlds back in 1938. That was well documented. Orson Welles got on the air. This is a national broadcast, and he tells the world that the Martians have landed in a swamp in New Jersey. True story. Of course, we know the Tom Cruise movie came out a few years ago kind of reflecting on that. So I decided one day, and what made me think of this is just a couple days ago, the USS Constitution took its final turnaround in Boston Harbor in Charlestown because it's going to be dry docked for 3 years for some badly needed repairs. So let's go back to 2000. I'm on the radio in Nashua, New Hampshire at the time. And at that time, the tall ships were visiting Charlestown, the Boston Harbor. And it's great. It's a cool thing to see, and there was more than just the USS Constitution. But every single night, the news stations were leading with the tall ships. And I was just kind of getting bored and tired with it. So I decided one morning that I would announce that one of the tall ships had left Boston Harbor, came up past Cape Ann, through Newburyport, and up the Merrimack River to Lowell. Think about that. What really made it work is before I went on the air, a lady called just to ask me something. I said, hey, you want to help me do something? I'm going to pull a prank, and I want you to go along with it, so it sounds real. So she got on the air with me and said, oh, yeah, I was down there yesterday. It was the Europa, and I waved to this guy on deck, and she made it so real. So we go on the air, and everybody's buying it. I'm getting calls. Really? Seriously? The USS Constitution or one of the other boats came up through under 14 bridges and all these rapids and docked, and a dam too, at the Songus Arena, which is the big auditorium in Lowell, right on the banks of the Merrimack River. So one lady later in the day drove down from Hudson, New Hampshire, found out that she'd been had, and she wasn't very happy with me. So she calls the radio station, complains, and the station calls me at home. I mean, they weren't concerned. It was totally harmless. And so she then called the Nashua Telegraph. So the Nashua Telegraph calls me at home to get my comment and my response. And I said, yeah, it was just a joke. I'll probably get in trouble for it, but whatever. So, but you can't quote me. You have to quote the station manager because I can't really speak for the station on this. So before the reporter could get to him, I called my boss and said, let's go along with this. Let's have some fun. Tell him I'm going to be suspended without pay for a day, and I'm going to be punished for irresponsible use of the airwaves. So that's what he did. Next day, headline of the paper, tall ships lands DJ in hot water. I got above the fold coverage in a pretty big-sized newspaper. I got on the air. I announced that I was going to be suspended for a day. And some guy got really upset because he felt, come on, this was harmless. Nobody got hurt. I mean, people jumped off bridges during the War of the Worlds thing. Nobody really got hurt. This was pretty innocent. And when you think about it, it really isn't going to happen. So he says, all right, you're going to be off the air for a day. And we talked about it on the air, and a guy drove in with a box of 500 Salada tea bags and dumped them in the parking lot as a Boston Tea Party type of protest, which also made the paper, and it went viral versus Associated Press because that was viral back in the day. So here's the best part of the story as far as I'm concerned. So I took that Thursday off, even though they were paying me. But we said I wasn't. And I went down to Foxwoods and I made $200 playing blackjack. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of celebrities that were really bad guests. Now, we would always, I'm going to drop a dime on some names that you know. We would always pre-tape the interviews, not because we were afraid there was going to be some swearing, but Because if it was really bad, you just don't want to play it. It's like 5 minutes that you'll never get back. My favorite, though, probably would be Keith Emerson, the band Emerson, Lake and Palmer. They had some hits in the 70s. Keith Emerson, and I love rock star autobiographies, Steven Tyler, Mick Jagger. So Keith Emerson, read the book, thought it was great. I had his phone number. He was in England, so at the time it's probably 2 in the afternoon, 3 o'clock maybe, because it's 9 o'clock in New Hampshire. Called, got the phone number. Somebody picks up the phone. Hello. Hello, this is Mike Morin from a radio station in the States. Can I talk to Keith, please? Is that your son? Yes, he's sleeping. Should I get him? Well, yeah. We have an appointment. So she goes and wakes Keith up. He comes to the phone, and he sounds like Ozzy Osbourne. He totally cannot understand a word he's saying. Just, very drowsy and probably the effects of a lot of substances over the years. So, that's another interview that didn't make it, but I did learn a very valuable lesson from that particular attempt, and that is the next time a rock star's mom answers the phone, I'm going to interview her. Yeah. Because guess what? They're going to drop a dime on their kid, right? Just like all moms do with their kids getting a little bit older. I have almost lost my career twice due to throat issues. I've had hemorrhagic polyps, which is very common with entertainers, talkers, people who work in factories. I'm going to guess not too much in the library world, though. You're not straining your voice all that much, not too terribly. Luckily, I had a doctor in Boston named Dr. Steven Zeitels who went in and fixed it. He also fixed the vocal cords of Julie Andrews and Steven Tyler and Adele, to name just a few. So I got to tell you, it's pretty scary when you make your living talking and you don't know if you're ever going to talk again, because I had to be silent a week before the surgery so that I didn't create any more damage. Doctor went in, did the surgery, and then I had to be silent for 3 weeks after that. So not saying a word for 1 month. Tough to do. So you end up going to the store, and we're talking, there wasn't texting then. This was the early, about 12, 13 years ago. So if you wanted to communicate with somebody, you go to the store. You don't want to appear rude. I would just hold up a sign that said, just had throat surgery, can't talk. I did learn one thing, that you don't ever walk into a bank with a notepad and start writing things. If you're in a relationship, the person in the relationship, the family members, they kind of get dragged into the radio skits and satires. Barbara Baker, my fiancée of 8 years, is with me. 8 years because she won't marry me after she read the damn book. I have to share one story with you. Christmas, I guess it was about 5 years ago. And, when you're at this point in your 50s, and now me in my early 60s, you got all the stuff you need. I mean, quite honestly, how much more stuff do you need? In fact, you're trying to get rid of things. So I thought, all right, let's, I know. I have a brilliant idea. I'll go to pajamagram.com. Have you heard of that? Yeah, it's the website that has really cool PJs that you don't find in stores. And Barbara is a registered nurse, and I saw nurses' pajamas. And I thought, won't I be the coolest guy? It's this very soft cotton scrubs. It was, I think, purple. It was really nice looking. She didn't have any, so I ordered them. They arrive on a few days before Christmas. And her daughter, Shannon, is over that morning, so it's the three of us. And she's opening the box and pulls out the pajamas. And, yeah, these are kind of cool, nurse pajamas. And somebody noticed, however, that there was a button on the shoulder. Button on the shoulder? Well, guess what? I ordered nursing pajamas. Nursing pajamas. Well, we haven't had any children since, so I honestly have enjoyed my talks at the libraries, and this, for me, was a great night because it gave me a chance to meet a lot more of you at one time and share some of these stories. So thank you for inviting me, and enjoy the rest of your conference. Thank you.